On today's episode of the Poncho section, we discuss the next big hipster transportation fad in Brooklyn. Goodbye bicycles from the 60s. Hello horse and buggy.
We were talking yesterday about our different addictions, and I had mentioned to you that I had no coffee. It must have been like months since I've gone a morning without coffee, and I just felt like complete shit.
I wanted to check with you. Did you have your coffee today?
Yeah, no, I did. I had a Starbucks, which really kicks me into gear. But yeah, I was thinking about that, and that kind of got me like thinking about just like addictions in general.
Yeah.
Because I think for me, if I have one addiction that's true, it's the coffee addiction.
All right.
If I think about all my other things, and I won't mention them on here, but if I think about all my addictions, I would say that coffee is probably number one because I can't go a day without it. But actually, having said that, there's a lot of things that I do every day, like watching TV or listening to podcasts, and I can't think of the last time I went days without doing that.
Right.
So that could also be an addiction.
I could definitely see that as addiction.
Yeah. So I mean that's really what we want to talk about is like
right.
different types of addictions, and especially in today's society, all these things that we just kind of do and don't really even think about, where it becomes part of our regular routine, and you look around at people, and it kind of weirds me out because I never want to sound depressing about technology. I know there's a lot out there. I mean, if you've seen Black Mirror, that shows the dark side of technology. Yeah. Where I think there are a lot of positives, but it's very easy to have like the negatives kind of stand out at you. Sure. So yeah, I guess we kind of want to figure out what our true media addictions are. Yeah,
I mean, because if you're just sitting on the train, like heading into work, you look around you. I mean, I have noticed that a lot of books have seemed to come back, whether it's in physical form or like Kindle or something like that. Yeah. I have noticed that has come back, but predominantly you just look and people are on their phones, they're looking on Facebook.
Watching
videos, or they're looking through photos in Instagram, right, and all that kind of stuff. So people are glued to that quote unquote Black Mirror. Yeah, it's really interesting.
And we all know this, and we all see it. But there's like things that I think about, like what I do, and I things that I've completely forgotten about that a few years ago I wasn't doing. Like I think we all, at least I do this, take our phones with us to the bathroom. Yep. And that's like something that a few years ago we would have said like, that's so fucking gross, that's fucked up. And now we all do it like it's normal.
I play chess.
Yeah. It's bizarre, but it's almost like if you don't, it makes it more entertaining to go to the bathroom. And when you don't have it, you feel kind of weird. Yeah. It starts to feel weird.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you had your coffee today. But what is your typical morning routine, especially involving media?
Right. Well, what's like the first thing I do is I reach for my phone. Where's my phone? Yeah. I mean, and I look. I check social media probably first thing. I go to Facebook is probably my go-to. Okay. Yeah. And it's not even that I really want to. It's just like I do it. It's just like
a lot of the times it's become a compulsory kind of thing where it's just a tick. Yeah. For some people, a few seconds have gone by and nothing here is to stimulate me. Right. Let me look at Facebook, Twitter, yada yada.
Yeah, I go from there, and then from that point, I'll look at some news articles maybe for that. Or even see what's like trending. I look to see what's trending that morning. Like, did anything fucked up happen overnight? and that's kind of that's where I go to first. Yeah. How about yourself?
Typically, I actually don't usually look at any sort of social media until after I leave my apartment.
That's good. That's a really that's smart because
But I will say that I am still glued somewhat to technology though. I get up, I'll shower, I'll get all ready and stuff like that, and I recently got one of the small versions of the Echo, and it's really cool because you can ask it like play the news or whatever. Yeah. So I'll sometimes listen to the news, and it'll just give you like a very quick overview of this, and that. Nice. And I do like that, and I also check the weather. But that's typically my big morning kind of thing. And then when I leave, I'm straight to listening to podcasts. Yeah. As I walk from the apartment to the train, and then usually about halfway through my train ride, I'll stop listening to the podcast and I'll take out like a book, or recently I got a Kindle.
Interesting.
And so I'll read that. And then when I get off the train, I'm back onto the podcast when I'm walking the rest of the way to work. And then pretty much when I get to work, it's Tumblr, YouTube, this and that.
So you put the podcast on again when you get off the train, you walk to work.
Right.
That's interesting because usually the podcast for me, and this is not all days, whatever podcast I'm listening to, it's from when I get on the train to when I get off the train. So the walks in between, the walks from the train to work or from home to the train, those are music.
Oh, okay.
So music,
I can dig it.
Because it's like I want my own theme music as I'm walking to and from the train. And then once I get on there, I was like, there's nothing interesting going on here. It's just a bunch of other people looking at their phones.
That's funny.
And then that's when I put on a podcast.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I was coming home the other day and listening to a podcast. I was listening to My Brother and Me. And somehow the movie Willy Wonka came up. And they're talking about some of the characters. And I ended up looking this up later because I thought they were kind of just joking.
Yeah.
But they made this joke that I literally had me cracking up. I'm like, I did like one of those things where you cover your face and I just start shaking. Yeah. And I'm just can't even imagine what other people must have been thinking. Like, what is this guy doing? Just like laughing his ass off on the train. The joke essentially they were making was that, or at least that I thought was a joke. Yeah. They were talking about, you remember the character Mike TV?
Of course.
Apparently, his original name, and I'm starting to laugh already, his original name was Herpes Trout.
Herpes Trout?
Yep.
Really? And wait, was that was the name
Roald Dahl? Yeah, but I guess even Roald Dahl maybe changed it, or they at least just changed it for the movie. Yeah. But I honestly thought they were joking, and then I looked it up, and they confirmed it. Yeah, Mike TV was originally Herpes Trout.
Now. Yeah.
But the way that they went about telling that story, I was just cracking up. So I'm imagining just what must have people thought of this crazy person just laughing on the train.
Well, I don't think it's that weird, especially in New York, because you see people. I see people like singing along to their music, rapping.
That's true.
Everything's kind of up for grabs at this point, and I do actually see more people like laughing and they're listening to something funny or watching something funny.
Yeah. Is there something that typically you wouldn't go more than a few days without checking or listening to, or something like that?
More than a few days?
Yeah. Or even a day if it's that intense.
Yeah, because I don't know. I can't think of the last time I would really have to go through like a social media fast to really like to disconnect from all that stuff. I can't think of any time where I've gone more than a day unless I've been like away somewhere where I had no access to it.
I typically find, unless I'm on vacation, if I'm on vacation, I'm typically away. Like I don't look at any like Facebook. I don't look at Twitter. I don't look at any of that kind of stuff. Or if I like actively I'm deciding, you know what, this weekend I'm gonna do like I don't want to deal with it. I'm just gonna be by myself. You know?
That's great, and especially on vacation, that's like the perfect time to do it. It's like just keep it away and enjoy whatever you're doing and be in the moment. But I do still love, I would say for me, when I really think about it, music is the one thing. I need my headphones and music. There was actually a day where I discovered I didn't have headphones on the way to work, and I actually went into a farm, like a Dwayne Reed or something, and bought like a really cheap pair of headphones because I was like, I can't just listen to the sounds of the city. I need something in my, and that's so weird. That's so weird that we've become so accustomed to it.
Yeah, I remember I've definitely had one of those days. I didn't actually go get the headphones, but I just listened to the sound of the city. It was an interesting sound.
Yeah, there's a lot of construction going on that you didn't know about. Yeah, so I was thinking about this earlier today. I was wondering if there's one, if you only had one device, like you can only pick one, like what would that be? And I was thinking about this, and I was like, oh, easy, like my phone, because phone has everything, right?
Right.
And I'm always checking my phone, I'm always attached to it. But then I was thinking more, like I love watching things on like a bigger screen.
Right.
Like I wouldn't want, like if I'm coming home and want to watch TV, and I didn't have a TV, right? Because all I have is my phone.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't be satisfying.
Yeah.
So, and then I thought laptop.
Right.
Laptop would solve that. But there is something nice about watching like something on like my nice like big television.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately I was like, I don't know. So what do you think? What would you, or if there's something else,
right?
Or if like you like your old original Game Boy,
you'd
rather take that.
I mean, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But I think I would probably go for a laptop.
Mm-hmm.
While there is obviously benefits for a cell phone, I mean, it's super convenient. It's portable.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have obviously the same capabilities of bringing a laptop around with you as you do with a cell phone.
Yeah.
I think I'm the same way where I like having a bigger screen.
Yeah.
I know there's some people that like,
or an iPad.
They do everything. Yeah, on an iPad.
Tablet.
They do everything on their cell phone. Like they do all like internet stuff, pay bills and this and that.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that's still old enough that I'm just not comfortable with that part of technology. Where I still kind of want to be able to see, like I feel like having a bigger screen, I can see exactly what's going on. I have a better view of everything.
Absolutely.
And with a cell phone, it's, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old fart. I mean, I'm 27, so I really shouldn't be complaining. But I mean, maybe I'm just old in my mind that it's just, I don't know. I'm more convenient dealing with on the computer when I have to deal with, I don't know, paying the bills or something like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do like seeing things on a bigger screen,
Mm-hmm.
and especially with the cell phone, like that doesn't. There are certain things like I don't want to do this on the phone. I'm just going to go to my computer because this is too annoying. Like with bill pay or something like that. That,
and the other thing that like I'm super super addicted to YouTube. I have to admit it. I'm always on YouTube.
Yeah.
That is, I would say it's way better to watch YouTube on a computer than it is on a cell phone.
It definitely is, and I would say I have a Roku, and watching YouTube on the Roku is a huge pain in the ass, just because there's no keyboard. I hate having to go and click everything.
I have the Amazon Fire Stick, and it's the same kind of pain in the butt. Just you have to scroll around with a tiny remote.
Yeah, they need to have keyboards that come with it, just so
that'd be sick.
Do everything that way.
Probably do.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. We're just not. We're just lazy and we don't want to get them. Yeah, I mean, I also like having a television though, and I know it doesn't do what the other stuff can do, but I like just sitting back and watching a show or a movie and actually putting my phone away.
Sure.
And I know that's like we didn't have phones years ago and we just would watch TV and that was it. But nowadays, I'll be watching something with my girlfriend. And we'll like see someone and like an actor and be like, who is that guy? He looks so familiar. What was he in? Google, as the thing is on. And while it's awesome that we can find out these things so quickly, sometimes I want to put the phone away and I'm like, who is that guy? You know what? I'm not going to find out right now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let it go.
Sometimes something that I've noticed that will happen is I'll do the like dual thing where I'm watching something on TV. And I should be invested in that. I should just be invested in that. I should watch it and have my full attention should be on what's on the screen.
Yeah.
But I have my laptop out. Yeah. And I'm just BSing on it.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know why. Like, I noticed that even sometimes when I don't have my laptop there, I'm like, I kind of want to be on my phone right now or on my laptop. Even though my focus should be 100% on what's in front of me.
Well, what I think is really funny is when I was in high school, or maybe even a little younger, whenever AOL Instant Messenger was like a big thing, I used to go on like the family computer.
Oh yeah,
I was downstairs and go on there, and then there was a TV kind of in the next room over, but you kind of see through.
Yeah,
and I would put something on the TV. It's kind of like just like background noise. So I would have that, and I'd be on, talking to people. And I remember my dad would always he wouldn't yell, but he would be like super snarky and would say like, how can you be, talking to people and watching TV and everything else? And I was like, I don't know, it's background noise, whatever I said. And now when I go home, like the TV is on and he's like on his iPad and I just want to be like, Yeah, man. But times have changed where that is becoming more of like a common thing. I just think that's really funny.
That is totally funny.
I can't imagine having kids now. That's a whole nother podcast discussion. but just the fact that they have all this at their fingertips, really.
Totally. And my parents totally did the same thing to me. They're like, how are you able to watch both at the same time? And like you said, it's kind of background noise, which is funny considering I know a lot of people that view that with music.
Yeah.
Where they just kind of view it as background noise. And I'm one of those people where when music is on, that's what I'm focusing on.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting thing because for me, I guess TV would be the background noise for me. But like music, when I hear something, I'm like, oh, my brain is instantly focused on that.
So can you do work and be listening to music at the same time, or no? You have to, or you need.
Yes and no. It depends on what the work is. If it's like that menial kind of like just data entry, take info from column A, put it in column B.
Right.
That I have no problem listening to music. But like sometimes I have to turn the music off because I know, all right, I have to deal with more brain involved work.
Yeah.
And I know that my brain, if I have the music on, it's going to be completely focused on the music. That's just how my brain works.
Well, if I want to focus and like be calm, I'll listen to some kind of like, I'll listen to like a focus playlist on Spotify or something.
Sure.
But the problem at work is that there's so much other noise going on. If I take my headphones off, that it's harder to focus.
Okay.
So I need to put something on. And I'll even listen to podcasts at work just to kind of have something, actually, so it's interesting from doing something menial. You said, I'll listen to a podcast or something funny to kind of get me like in sort of a mood where like the menial task doesn't seem as bad because I'm listening to something funny at the same time.
Right.
If that makes sense. You kind of have to pick and choose depending on what you're doing, depending on how much focus it takes.
Sure.
It's a tough thing. But yeah, I mean, it's a big question of like if we started to, take things away because we have so much. And you and me, we like a lot of different things, and that's good. But if there was something we wanted to like strip away, like what would that be, or what would be like a benefit? I think the array of podcasts that you and I listen to, and that that is important, and I think you can learn something from it. You can learn something from us, maybe. And
yes,
and like that's something I wouldn't take away.
Sure,
but maybe I would limit like Facebook time or something.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah. Beyond promoting this podcast, I honestly, I'd be totally cool with no Facebook, to be honest. I mean, I go on to kind of just see what's up. I'm not one of those who really posts very often.
Yeah.
I really don't. Like, I don't really post much about my life or this or that. I'll like other people's posts and just kind of look.
Do some
spectating.
I consider it sometimes, and I'm like, nah, like I just don't feel like it.
Too much work.
It is, yeah. Some people do it like effortlessly, or they just have no problem letting their thoughts flow freely and just posting articles willy nilly. Like this source is probably accurate. Post.
I don't know about you, but I was very late to the game with a lot of social media.
Yeah.
I think
late.
Facebook was I was in on Facebook around like 2007.
Yeah.
I think I had the MySpace before that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Back in the day.
I did.
But stuff like Twitter, I didn't get into until much later on. Same thing with Instagram.
I just got into last month.
Yeah. For Twitter, I didn't get into it until I was in a band. And we're like, oh, we should get like Twitter things just so we can help promote the band. Okay, cool. That's why I got a Twitter. Same thing with Instagram. I did it for the band, and now we use it for the podcast. Check out our Instagram and Twitter, people.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I have all those things now. And I have Twitter. I've had only Instagram for a month, but I still find myself checking Facebook the most. Like the other ones, I don't really pay attention to as much.
Yeah. Twitter
seems to be very popular amongst high-profile people.
Yeah.
High-profile celebrities, our presidents. Seems to be popular amongst those people, whereas Facebook for me is usually where I go to. Yeah.
The other thing I got into, and I don't remember why. Oh, no, I remember exactly why. I got into Tumblr because after college, after we graduated in 2011, I started my job, and like shortly into it, I was kind of like, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Let me roll back. I was looking for a job. I was kind of bored. I was working over the summer at a friend's company.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do something related to what I went to school for. I went to school for music industry.
Yeah.
So I started my own blog where I just would review music and stuff like that. It was called the Magical Mystery Music Blog.
Okay.
And people would give me suggestions because back then I was like super into classic rock, old kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't really hip with the new kind of music, so I wanted people to be like, send me what you're listening to right now, the new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna review it and I'll post my reviews about it. So I did that, and that's how I got into Tumblr.
Okay.
And now I'm pretty much addicted to Tumblr. Which I was like, all right, that's how I can get in touch with the Utes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The Utes by referencing a movie from 1992.
1992, that's right. That's when that came out? Yeah.
But I was asking my sister, who's scary enough, she's 20 now.
Mm-hmm.
But I always ask her, like, what are the kids into right now? And she's saying that I believe
that's good that you have someone that young to like ask.
She was saying like Snapchat and I think Instagram are the two big things right now.
Yeah, Snapchat seems to be really popular.
Yeah,
and
I don't have that.
I still don't understand it. Like I don't get the appeal of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like an Instagram, but you pick who you send.
Yeah, you pick who you send it to.
The things to?
But it disappears, though.
Yeah, it's only
that I don't
for
understand.
a specific amount of time. I heard it was for sex. People would sext their pictures.
Oh, well, that makes sense. But also, people like they have different like faces. Like you could be like a dog face.
Although I will say there is one where you swipe the face with somebody else.
Oh, face swap.
Yeah, and that's a lot of fun.
I mean, yeah, it's like fun, silly stuff. You know, I know, knowing my personality, that if I start on something like that, like, I'm just going to waste so much time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, everything for me, anything that I take up is just, it's all time wasters.
Okay.
You know, that's all it is. So the fact that I got an Instagram, I'm actually, maybe I shouldn't even say this on this podcast, but I'm on this kick where I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to see how many followers I can get without posting anything. Oh. I have some people that know about this, and they purposely won't follow me because of that. but
that's interesting.
But I'm on this kick where like I just want to see how many followers I can get. And I think a lot of it too is you get people from Facebook. Yeah. So that come on, they see, oh, you're on Instagram too. Follow. So I'm probably cheating a little bit.
That's a clever challenge.
I mean, it's because honestly, it's just because I didn't feel like posting anything, and I was like, what if I just don't post anything and see what happens? But we'll see how long that lasts. Yeah. So you know, just by talking about this, talking it out, it seems that the social media stuff is like the big thing that takes over everything. Pretty much, yeah.
Like, what would you say if you had like, let's go top 3. What would you say your top 3 media addictions are?
Top 3. Well, Netflix is definitely up there. Oh. You know, Netflix might even be number 1 because Netflix, I feel like I actually enjoy it.
Okay.
Or so, where like Facebook, it's just like compulsive.
Yeah.
It's just like compulsive behavior where you're just checking them like, oh, this person's doing this. I'm like, why do I give a shit? Mm-hmm. Why do I care that, you know, so-and-so is at the, I don't know, Grand Canyon or in Scotland or whatever. Sure. You know, like, that's cool, that's nice, but like, I don't, whatever, like, cool.
Yeah.
You know, if it's someone, if it's a friend, if it's a close friend, and I see them, like, hey, like, I have pictures from my trip. Cool. Like, I'd love to see your pictures. But if it's like some random person I never talked to, it's like, why am I looking at this? And you think about it. But
it's one of those things where, I mean, most people have, about maybe 10 close friends at most at this age. We have at most like 10, maybe 15, at most 20, I don't know.
It's hard to keep track of.
For the most part, you're friends with hundreds of people, and you don't give a shit about most of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true. So where that comes in, it's like, yeah, I'm looking at this stuff, but I don't really care. Yeah. Whereas I'm watching a show on Netflix, something I want to watch. I'll watch like a comedy special. I'll be sitting back laughing, enjoying it, you know, or whatever big show is on. Stranger Things, sure.
Yeah.
But I can kind of just like sit, and it's also fun too. Those are like true escapes.
Sure.
When you watch, those are true escapes. And then when you put your phone away, it's like it's a true escape. That's what it's meant to do. That's what TV's meant to do. That's like when you watch like a silly sitcom.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like meant to like you had a shitty day at work, like put this on, and it's just about silliness and none of it's real, and it's great. You know?
Yeah.
And Facebook, you're like immersing yourself in other people's lives. Like, hey, do you feel like psychologically, it's like it's terrible.
Oh,
if you really
yeah.
think about it, if you can't separate yourself from that, if you look at that and you see so and so's doing this, they're traveling, they're doing something else, they're with this person, and it's really easy to start feeling bad about yourself.
Yeah.
So, because that's like because you're looking at what you perceive as reality,
Yeah.
whereas it's really just the highlights or like the highlight reel of their life, because they're not going to show you like this is me puking in the toilet,
Sure. Well, then people listen to this podcast because we're doing nothing. That's a true escape.
Yeah, it's
right there. Just listen to us. You'll feel better about yourself.
It's Friday night. We're hanging out, and we decided to have a couple beers while we do this because it's Friday, and
why not?
Yeah, and we're enjoying ourselves, and that's important.
That's interesting because I honestly wasn't thinking of Netflix, but I would have to say, yeah, probably Netflix would be one of those addictions. It's one of those things. It's always good to go to.
Yeah,
I'm always down to watch that. So yeah, I would probably say Netflix, podcasts. So I'm always listening. Although I don't have I have several that I just randomize through, but I'm always listening to one 5 days a week.
Yeah,
heading to work and heading home.
Yeah.
And then I guess I'm busting my list out into 4 things because then there's YouTube.
Yeah.
And then there's Tumblr. I don't know, like Tumblr it's ridiculous. I'm always just looking up silly things. And YouTube is one of those things where I don't know. Everybody makes a joke about it. Like you start out watching one video, and then 3 hours passes by, and somehow you're on a completely different video that has absolutely nothing to do with the one you originally started out with.
Well, it's the YouTube wormhole.
Oh yeah,
that's what I call it.
Yeah,
that's what a lot of people call it. But the wormhole, where you start on one thing and then you see a related video and you're like, ooh, yeah, that sounds interesting, and then you see another one and then another one, and before you know it, your life is over.
Yeah. The other day I don't remember how I started out watching something about music, and then a few hours later I'm watching some guy make an old-fashioned wallet. Yeah, like from scratch. Like he takes the leather and he cuts it, and he uses like these weird like tools and stamps them and heats them up and this and that. It's crazy.
I will say YouTube is great for like any kind of tutorial. Like you need to do something. It's like just type in how to hang a picture. Yeah. And there's some guy who made a video about it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that. I found out how you can fold a shirt in a special way.
Is it that Marie Kondo?
I don't know. You like
the Japanese lady?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like everyone's been reading that book, like how to tidy up.
That was pretty crazy. She's
really good.
There's like food things.
Yeah.
Like there's like a few things that I always watch on YouTube. One of them is I like those food things. There's like the silent food making things. Like do you know Cooper, right? Cooper Nelson from college? Yeah. So he started a channel, I think it's called Silent Cooking. Yeah. And it's really cool. Like it's just it's shot really well. I mean, he's involved with like photography or like cameras and stuff like that. So he gets these really cool shots, and it's like ASMR kind of stuff, which is that like I don't know, like some people.
I'm not into that kind of
yeah.
thing.
Some people are like there's some parts that I can dig like the sounds of like the cooking, like there's scratching noises, there's tapping noises, but some people are like into like whispering stuff.
No, that creeps me out.
Creeps me out. Oh my god, that's just like, why? Like, no, thank you.
I don't like. I'm not part of that. I don't understand.
Right.
Like that doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about.
I don't know what that sound is.
We're under attack.
What the hell sound is that?
Yeah. Let's pause for a second.
All right. Well. Yeah. The sound is gone.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. You don't know if something was going on here. We got, sometimes there's a lot of funky noises that happen around. We're recording this in my apartment, and sometimes there's people in the hallway, and there's, the heater's making noises.
Sometimes there's ghosts.
Yeah, so you got to bear with us. Sorry about that.
Yeah, but YouTube, yeah. So I'll typically watch that kind of stuff. There's a really funny cooking one. It's called You Suck at Cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Let me rephrase it. You suck at cooking. I need to learn how to enunciate. And it's essentially like the anti-cooking show where he does everything wrong.
Oh, really?
And it's like a comedic take on that kind of stuff. It's very funny.
Yeah.
There's those that I watch. There's a lot of like movie related stuff. I always enjoy people who dissect movies and show like, oh, this is what like an interesting shot that the director made and this and that, because a lot of times it's stuff that I never really thought of that I actually now I notice when watching movies. So that's really interesting. And there's one big thing that I always watch right before bed: Bob Ross.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Bob Ross put, well, not him, he's dead, but like they put up the
From Beyond the Grave.
Yeah, from Beyond the Grave. He started a YouTube channel. They put up all of The Joy of Painting. That's a great way to go to sleep.
Yeah.
I put that up, watch like a video or two, and I'm out.
Yeah.
And just watch him like a guy painting a happy little tree.
I'm so happy like people watch that guy, because I used to watch him all the time.
Yeah.
Like he reminds me, every time I see The Joy of Painting, it reminds me of being at my grandma's house when I'm like 9 years old, watching it on like PBS or whatever it was on. Yeah, but that's a great way to go to sleep. There's even a podcast with this guy who he talks you to sleep.
Really?
I swear. The thing is though, and this is my own thing, is, and maybe those Bluetooth headphones would help, but I'm afraid of like falling asleep with headphones on, because I always get tangled in them. Then I end up waking up at some point with headphones in. Right? I mean, I feel like that has to be somewhat common. Yeah,
or the worst comes to worst, what will happen is that in the middle of the night, it'll change to like some sort of channel where you learn how to speak another language. Mm-hmm. And then it ends up getting skipped on loop. So you just, when you wake up in the morning, all you know how to say is that one phrase in another language.
Now, is
like
that...
from Dexter's Laboratory.
Is that something that you could really learn? Could you really learn a language by listening to something and falling asleep to it?
I honestly don't know.
I don't think so.
But it was from Dexter's Laboratory where that happened.
So it must be true.
I feel like that must be true. Yeah. He learned omelette du fromage.
See, now so what if you had Cartoon Network, and that was the only thing you had? That's all you had to watch, like Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo,
Ed, Ed and Eddie,
the Powerpuff Girls,
Cow and Chicken.
Yeah, that's all you had. Or just some classic cartoons.
Like that's all I had to like watch ever, or I was like put into some sort of jail, and I was required to only watch that.
Yeah.
Like, you must watch this nonstop for 24 hours straight.
I mean, anything can get, like, after you watch something too much, you get bored with it.
I guess, yeah.
That's everything. But if you came home, I mean, your power's out. Or not even that, no, your lights still work.
This podcast is getting weird.
No, see, no, I'm just thinking, though, because we're talking about all these different things and all of these things we go to, and we have so many different options. But if it's all not there, TV doesn't work, or you just want to do some kind of weird experiment where with our jobs, unfortunately, it wouldn't work because we are on computers every day.
Yeah.
But if you had the time and you were able to, for like a week, you had no TV, computer, or phone, I guess that would be like
I think those are the main kind of things.
So what would you do? I guess you'd read something that isn't on a Kindle.
Right.
Or on play music, maybe.
Yeah.
Exercise.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about that.
It kind of forces you to do other things.
Yeah, I was trying to think, like, imagine, like, years back.
Yeah.
If we were our age from years ago, before there really was, like, all of these kind of, I would say on-demand kind of things. Because back in the day, they had TV, but you didn't have the options that we have today, right? Mm-hmm. Music wasn't as easily available as it is today.
Oh, it was super
same thing
hard.
with podcasts. I don't think they were a thing. You had radio. That was about it. And forget about any sort of internet kind of things, YouTube, this and that. And I was trying to think, like, what would I don't know if I would say addiction, but what would take up my time?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question, because it just kind of goes to show how many distractions there are all around, like things that we were like drawn to immediately.
Yeah.
And it's especially prevalent, like, I mean, even like if I wanted to like sit down and do some writing.
Yeah.
Now, like, I'm not gonna go to my I'm not gonna actually write. Like, I'm not gonna handwrite. I'm gonna go to my laptop, and once on my laptop, so many distractions. They're all staring me in the face.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very different now. Yeah, back then, I mean, think about it. As a kid, you would play with toys.
Yep.
And you go outside.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you did things. You were okay.
Yeah.
But the TV was there too. I mean, the TV was there when you got home.
I think that the difference is having things on demand. I think it's the fact that you can pick what you want to watch then, because let's say you get home, the show you want to watch isn't on. Well, you got to wait a few hours or whatever. You're fucked. Yeah. Just go kill yourself. You go outside. You would take up your time with other activities. And I'm just thinking what I probably would do if I didn't have all of this kind of technology stuff. Mm-hmm. I love like vinyl. I have like records and stuff like that. I think I would take up my time. I would at least hope in my head to take up my time at like the record store, buying some vinyl, and then coming home and listening to it. Yeah, listening to a lot more vinyl because there isn't really anything else to grab me in that kind of way. Where like YouTube, I could watch and listen to a bunch of music, but I wouldn't. It's just much easier having like a digital format, although it's a better quality having vinyl. So I mean, I think I would probably stick to that. Who knows? Maybe I'd be more athletic, go outside more. Probably not. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Do more outside kind of things and listen to more music.
Yeah, but when the weather's cold, I mean...
When the weather's cold,
it's just like, you want to stay inside and you want to watch TV. I mean...
We'd get other addictions.
Yeah. Well, it's true. I mean, the thing is, this could be like on a philosophy podcast. Yeah. But just how you can turn anything into an addiction.
Sure.
Yeah, it's very true. I guess the key is having a balance and doing everything sort of in moderation.
Right.
But to put it all together, right? I think that the phone has like everything that we need, everything that we want, like watching TV. It's on, like, everything's on the phone.
Yeah.
So the big media addiction for me, I think, is like I can actually leave my laptop like away for a while.
Right.
I can keep it away. The phone is the one thing that's like always though it's always around.
Sure.
Yeah, and again, like smartphones, like I haven't had a smartphone for really like all in all, like not that long.
Sure.
Maybe 5 years.
Yeah, that's another thing I was late to with the smartphones, because I had like the old school dinosaur like phones forever.
Did you ever have the Sidekick? That was like that was like the precursor because it had the keyboard.
I had it was like the first quote unquote TV phone.
Yeah.
So it had like a very large screen that you kind of flip to the side and it had this, I would say
the one you spin.
You kind of spun it, yeah. And the antenna was, I would say, probably about 6 inches long. Mm-hmm. So you'd pull the antenna all the way up. So that if you wanted to get TV, obviously...
You walk around with it. Like,
right. Obviously, I didn't pay for it, the TV part, because it would have been like $30 a month back then.
Yeah.
But that was like, for the longest time, that was the closest I got to like a smartphone. Periodically, I will think about like the first phone I got.
Yeah.
And just like off of that, think about how far the technology has gotten.
Yeah.
My first phone didn't even have texting. It had a blue light as like the color, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a blue backlight.
Wait, was that the Motorola?
It was an LG. It cost $29.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, no texting, but it did have Snake.
Yeah, yeah.
And I believe it had enough memory where you could save 30 people's phone numbers.
Wow.
Which, of course, back then, I want to say maybe a junior in high school.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew 30 people with cell phones.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even barely fill that up.
all the phones did was call. You couldn't text at that.
That was at least the one I had. Maybe I think some phones had texting, but the one I got, my first phone, didn't have texting or any of that stuff. Yeah. But just think about what the phones do today. It's incredible.
How much more can they do?
Oh yeah, I mean I always hear I think Neil deGrasse Tyson or one of those guys, Michio Kakuya, who say that the phones that we have are in the technology that they had when they went up to the first moon landing was what we have today dwarfs it. Yeah, it's insane. They had barely calculators when they first went up, and the technology that we have now is incredible.
It's pretty amazing.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so when I really think about it, it's like, and that's something too that I really didn't think was going to go the way it did. I didn't think phones would be so addicting. And
who knew?
And everything would be on the phone. Like, there's no more. I don't think there are any more like Game Boy type things anymore, because I think you can do everything on your phone, right?
Unless
I'm mistaken.
I want to say Nintendo is still releasing things, but there are the gaming industry. Like, there's a huge market for the mobile phones.
Yeah,
I try to avoid. Besides, I have chess on my phone when I go to the bathroom.
Yeah, well, I used to play like Words with Friends and stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
But I stopped doing that a long time ago. Yeah, like you can. You can get everything on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but it's so different now.
Right.
It really is.
The funny thing though is if you look, because everybody, I think, I don't want people to get us wrong where we're like necessarily complaining.
No,
that we're saying
like not complaining at
we're
all.
saying like, oh, people today that we're so addicted to this, because if you look, every single, I'm trying to remember who released this. Somebody released they showed that each generation, when there was some sort of new technology that came out, everybody essentially has the same reaction, or a certain generation at a certain age group has a certain reaction to new technology, where everybody's going, oh, everybody's addicted to their cell phones, everybody's addicted to this technology, everybody's addicted to social media. And then, but if you look, way back when the radio came out, everybody was saying the same thing, like, oh my God, this thing is going to corrupt our children. This is the devil. This is this. Yeah. And copy, rinse, repeat for every single technology that came out. The TV, internet, happens. This and that. So it's just a continuation of that. So I don't want people to get this wrong that we're necessarily complaining about this. I think we're just kind of making an interesting commentary about, or at least we think it's interesting.
I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting to observe. I think ultimately what it comes down to is what you can handle. I mean, if it is like too much, I've heard of people who have like switched back to flip phones because they just couldn't.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they just didn't want to deal with it, or they've just gone off the grid. Mm-hmm. And I think that's cool. I think like if you want to, especially, I think there's something to be said for like just like stepping away from it. Like if you want to take some time off from like social media or whatever, like you should do that just to kind of clear your head, whatever. But ultimately what it comes down to is just moderation and knowing, or at least knowing your own limits, and just having your own, like, just try to have your own self-control, you know?
Yeah.
Just be like, what am I doing? Like, just put down for a little while. And then when you feel like it, like, go back. Like, just try and have, like with anything, just try and have some self-control.
Yeah.
And the heater is telling us.
I think the heater agrees.
Yeah, the heater is very excited about this. Yes, I mean, that's really all I would say to wrap it up is like that you just gotta have to do it in moderation. And for me, you know, the biggest thing I would say, Facebook and Netflix, and what's really funny is I'm looking at them on my laptop and they're right next to each other. Facebook and Netflix are my like big two. And nice. I guess like Spotify's somewhere in there as well. But,
sure.
But Facebook and Netflix, those are my two.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with do I want to say? Oh, that was me. Mm-hmm. What was it? Oh, somebody cheers me for the beer I drank on Untapped.
There you go.
Yeah. Thanks for that interruption.
Today's podcast is brought to you by... Well, we won't say the company. Because they're not actually sponsoring us.
No.
But actually, they're not sponsoring us, but Blue Point beer is very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's excellent.
This is Mosaic.
We had Blue
IPA.
Point, and we had some. What was the other one? Dogfish Head.
Dogfish Head.
That was excellent.
Yeah, that one's very good too.
So if you guys want to send us any money or free beer for plugging your...
No, this is we're happy to do it. Free advertising.
But yeah, so for me, I'm gonna go with Facebook just on a compulsory level.
Yeah.
But podcasts, YouTube, and Tumblr are my big three.
Tumblr, yeah. It's funny how Facebook though is always.
Facebook is just always there.
God damn it, Zuckerberg.
Damn it, Zuckerberg.
All right.
Jesse Eisenberg, man.
Well, I think, we got everything we wanted to, right?
Yeah.
And please, everyone, follow us on all the social media.
Yeah.
I know we just spent some time talking about
getting off of it.
Yeah. But if you're going to do one thing, it would be to follow us on social media.
Follow us.
We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
We're not on Snapchat.
We're not on Snapchat. We started putting videos on YouTube.
Yes.
So check that out. Spread the word. People,
Yes.
Spread the love, spread the word.
Please do. And
what are your addictions?
Yeah.
Let us know. We want to hear from you.
Let us know. Shoot us some comments,
Yeah.
It'll only take you a minute at the most.
Minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.